Hello, my name is Laura. I am an architect originally from Colombia. I live in Berlin since 7 years, and I am the co-founder of the non-profit organization WeBuilding.
I'm the other co-founder. My name is Ivan. I'm also an architect from Croatia, and I've been an architect for 15 years. Together we have started the NGO.
WeBuilding started just because of one project. This project was a primary school in Ghana, and it's got to happen because when I finished university in 2011, I went to Ghana as a site manager in order to help an NGO to build an orphanage. When I moved to Berlin, I got in contact again with them, and then they told me about the project, and then we started first designing the project, and then little by little we got more involved. We decided to look for the funds, and that was the moment that we had to actually make it all official. So this is how WeBuilding started. Currently we are running it completely as a volunteer basis, including us. We both work in architecture offices part-time in order to be able to do this work.
Can you talk about a project that WeBuilding is currently working on?
Our current project is another school in Ghana. So after the completion of our first project in Damang, we have been contacted by another local organization. That was for a year ago. And since then we've been together with them developing the project. Right now we are in the final stages of finally getting the funding to actually start the construction. So our plan, if everything goes well, is to start it somewhere at times in February. So the scope of the project is 6 classrooms, like a first phase of the whole school complex, very similar to what we did the first time. And basically after these 6 classrooms, if the school goes running well, then in the future we might continue on the same project. We always try to do it in this way, that it's like a one complex of roughly 5 to 6 classrooms, which we feel is doable from our side in one go, in one construction.
What kind of unique perspectives can architects provide to the NGOs in places such as Berlin, Mozambique, Colombia, and Ghana?
In this particular situations, we do have a bit more freedom to work with the local organizations from the beginning. So we adjust the programs and their needs from the early stages. Usually it does happen that everybody is very ambitious and wants to do many things at once. So we try to intervene and make it a bit more realistic. Everybody wants to have a perfect running school with 12 classrooms, with everything in the thing. But then we can also intervene and say, okay, let's do 6 classrooms. Let's start slowly. Let's do it a bit like this or like that, because we do have experience on how complicated projects can get, how expensive can it get, and through that we do kind of steer it from the beginning. So far the way we've been doing it, it made sense. So the way we kind of structure the project and the size we kind of take on, it's realistic for us as an organization that we can do it, and I think it works with the local organizations as well.
What is your definition of sustainable architecture?
We as an organization, we try to be as sustainable as we can in terms of materials and the way we do the construction. It does have to do a lot with who is available, who can we find on site that actually do have the knowledge to do some techniques that are not so common. For example, in the construction of our first project, we managed to get in contact with a local person who was developing his compressed earth blocks. So we decided, even from the early stages of the project, to actually use that, and then we later implemented it in the way we designed the building. And on the other side, where we also try to be sustainable, is to our decisions and the way we do projects from the architecture side and design side, to do it as efficient as possible and to keep the whole procedure to the shortest time available.
From the beginning of the design, it is thought in order to reduce or stop some issues that you would have eventually. So for example, in the school that was designed in Ghana, there is no need for ventilators, because the way the air is circulating in the building makes that room is always fresh. So this is also was something also very important from the beginning, to do the design as good as it's possible in order not to need extra things in the future.
I'm sure it's not always sunshine and rainbows, so can you name one of the more challenging aspects of your work?
I think that the very most challenging part of doing projects like that is the fundraising. For us, it took us about 2 years in order to finally fundraise the first school that we built. Now, as Ivan said, we managed to get the funds for the second one, but then it's a really long and hard process for us to get it because the construction costs a lot, even if we are a very small organization and our networking somehow is just starting. The amounts that we are talking about in order to build a school that has 6 classrooms is something between 60,000-80,000 euros, and so then it's extremely hard to get it.
So if I were to make a donation to WeBuilding, where would the money from that donation go to?
96% of all the money that we gather as donations, they go directly to the projects that we build, so then they go directly to the construction, and about 4% is needed in order to run the organization. So for example, print flyers or pay the tax advisor that we need once a year or things like that. Yeah.
What types of volunteers does your organization look for, and what types of projects can these volunteers expect to be involved with for WeBuilding?
What we are looking in general from the people that come to our organization is that they have a big motivation and that they can commit for a certain amount of time to come to our weekly meetings. There is 5 different groups, so depending on the group, the meetings are either Tuesdays or Thursdays from 9 to 1. Each team is specialized in a different field or need that we have in the organization. So we have architecture, we have marketing, we have fundraising, we have events, and we have workshops. We just try to adjust it so that the person is happy with what they are working on, and also that they can also give something to the team.
Lastly, where can people go to learn more about what you do?
If you want to know more about us, you can find more information in our website. So our website is we-building.org. Thank you very much.
Thank you.